Olusola-Obasa. It was a beautiful entry into the studio with that song that Okiki just threw. Hey, thank you, Okiki, for. I like this mischief. It's positive. You know, there's positive mischief in this one. There's negative. So if this is what mischief is, please keep it up. All right, so welcome everyone to Mind Your Character with Bosade Olusola-Obasa, the radio show that never ever leaves you the same way. By that, I mean that I always leave you better than I met you. So I'd like you to stay here with me for 30 minutes of unforgettable value addition. I'm so very glad that you're alive. And I'm glad or gladder that you are tuned to this show. Never forget my regular admonition to you, and that's the fact that you should remain grateful for life. Celebrate life, not just things. When you celebrate life, life becomes more worth living for you. And realize that life is actually a privilege and not a right. You don't need anyone to preach first service, second service, third service on that. By now, you know that being alive is a privilege. So welcome once again. I want you to brace yourself right now because it's time for unlearning. I will be leading you to reset wrong mindsets. Get ready to learn to become a better version of yourself and get ready to relearn, because just when you've stopped learning, you have started dying. So learning is a continuum. Welcome again. Last week was interesting. We tried to review NCPS, and that's the National Character Parenting Summit, the learning points, the people that stood with us, how successful it was, how that virtual is actually actual. It was totally virtual and massive, massive, massive impact. Massive impact. So thank you everyone once again. I'd like to just mention Sentinel Limited, thank you. Thank you Pertinence, thank you Life Page. Thank you agbeloba.ng. Thank you every other person, individuals and corporate organizations that worked together with us to see that become a success. That was one big platform that we usually will stage every year, and it's totally free. It's our corporate social responsibility, and it's good when you have good intentions to have people stand by you closely to bring it to pass. Thank you so much everyone once again. And you're not going to be hearing my voice alone in the studio today. Tolu is back. Okay, I welcomed him back last week. Okay, he's back from going to do chieftaincy or kingtaincy. So I told him he should be doing press up to be the king of Idosi. You know, so welcome to
in this lifetime of me.
I don't know if you should be answering that question.
Good afternoon to you, good afternoon to all our listeners. It feels good to be back, and it feels great at the same time.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that makes Saturday is knowing that we're reaching out to you, adding liquid value. Yes. And so Angbeloba.ng was on the show last week. And interestingly, even though it wasn't a live show, we had people call in to find out more. Just visit agbeloba.ng for more information or for other details you might require on knowing how you can deploy investing in agriculture as one other stream of income that you can have. One thing I can assure you of is, in addition to whatsoever others are doing, because Agbeloba isn't just the only company that is into that right now, but there's something special, the tech part of it, and you want to find out what all of that is. So please, agbeloba.ng waits to have you visit. Yeah. So Mind Your Character is the show. And if it's your first time of tuning in, here we learn, we'll learn, we'll relearn. We are here with the intention of making you and making us better versions of ourselves. Today I'm beginning a series, and it's a series that excites me a lot because it's the entire thing that um, brought about our organization, First Royal Character and Values Limited. That's character development. So, beginning a series today on how important character development is, in particular, personal character development. You don't want to miss just to one Saturday. So, we're going to be uh, from time to time looking at how important is character development, how to build personal character, how to maintain personal character, and other nitty gritty. The purpose of this is to ensure that you're built to last. It's so important. We've had too many failed success stories. People were once successful and then no more on the list. We want us, all of us together, to be able to build and to last. So today we are beginning by studying some quotes that have been carefully selected from authors. Quotes from authors that have been carefully selected. Personally, quotes are one of the ways that I learn wisdom. Yes, it's one of the ways I gain instruction. So I assure you, you're totally going to like today's show. So just hang in. And should you want to say hi, because this is not a topic that requires plenty of calling in, but you want to say hi or tell us how important character development is to you, it's a live show today. So you can call on 0700 923 923 923. I'll just be so delighted to speak with you. Now, Tolu and I will run you through the quotes one after the other. And we will not be able to stay long on each, but I tell you, even hearing them being read out gives you the actual thing you're supposed to know. So the first few quotes will establish the fact that your character is your choice and it's your responsibility. I'll begin with one by Jim Rohn. And it goes, character is a quality that embodies many important traits, such as integrity, courage, perseverance, confidence, and wisdom. Unlike your fingerprints that you were born with and cannot change, character is something that you create within yourself and you must take responsibility for changing. Lengthy, but very pungent points there. Quality that embodies many important traits. He listed the traits, but there are several others that may not have been part of that quote. You hear more about it this series that we're running. So make sure you make it a date every Saturday at 12:30 with Mind Your Character. It's a 30-minute show. So if you come in after 30 minutes is done, we are off. So it said it's not like your fingerprints that you were born with. Tolu, you have idea of your fingerprints now.
Definitely.
You met them there.
Yeah.
You can't tell who painted, whether it was painted or sculpted. God can explain how it is. He says, so it says
factory fitted.
yes. And it says your character is not like your fingerprints that you were born with and cannot change.
Mhm. True.
The other side is your character is actually something that you created within yourself and you must take responsibility for changing. Changing is important to me. Changing is important to me. So Tolu, how more can you agree with this quote?
I absolutely agree with it because Jiron left everything on this.
everyday demand on you. I'd like you to leave with a takeaway point today. The fact that you are responsible for who you have become. The next quote by John Lubbock says, your character will be what you yourself choose to make it. So don't be at loss as to, okay, so what are these things you're talking about? Jim Rohn gave us a tip by saying it includes things like qualities like integrity, courage, perseverance, confidence, wisdom, kindness. Just name them. There are about 54 character qualities. So if I decide to do one per week, like do nothing else but talk about one character trait per week, we will have enough to go through a year. So you see how much of work we all have to do when it comes to checking yourself out and asking yourself, what have I in my bouquet? What do I lack? So where you found that you have a deficit, you are responsible for building that aspect. Tolu,
Yeah.
next.
Okay, so next quote by Barbara A. Lewis says, positive character traits are something you can add and should develop. Positive character traits are something you can and should actually
You
develop.
can. I like the word you can. A lot of people hide behind helplessness. Oh, I'm just this very. I remember hashtag short nerve that sparks and goes off
Yeah.
at the slightest. Let's not go into details because that's not the show. But I'm saying that whatsoever you think you have become, the earlier you started agreeing with yourself and telling yourself the own truth of the need for you to sit down and make yourself who you want to be and stop saying it's somebody else, the better. Tolu just said what Barbara said. Positive character, so there's negative character.
Sure.
So positive character traits are something you can. I love you can. And you should develop. On the note of you can, I will quickly go on a break and remain can.
Oh boy, I've been losing from hearing lives these days. Just got a car and I seen something about traveling to Dubai later in the year. All of us want to see the same salary in this office. I'm beginning to suspect him. Oh.
No, now, Susan. I had the same thought a few months ago, but I stuck with him. Frank is in partnership with Personal Limited, owners of Island Properties in Lekki. And all he does is just refer interested investor buyers to them. They help him close the deal, and he gets rewarded. Me, I am now registered to earn cash. Get a car and travel to Dubai.
Tell me a beg, how do I get this deal?
Visit www.islandproperties.com/register to get started for free or call 081 433 8506. Personal Limited. Making life easy.
Thank you for sticking with me. It's still Mind Your Character, Bosade Olusola-Obasa, reaching you on 92.3 FM. This is a 3-year-old and plus show, and all we've done for this number of years is add value to you. I don't know, you might be coming across it the first time. I'd like you to make it a date every Saturday, because one thing that will happen to you once you do is you're going to become a better version of you. Yes, because I never leave you the same way I met you. I always leave you better than I met you. Yes, so the next quote. We've been reviewing quotes that help us see the importance of character development, in particular, personal character development. And so now, develop your character so you can be a person of integrity, said Peter King. Develop your character so you can be a person of integrity. That goes without any form of explanation. I take that as an advice that everyone who means well for their destiny should consider following. The next set of quotes will help us now see more about how important it is I'll take this one. The great hope of society is in individual character. So we're gravitating towards the fact that your character is not totally just up to you. Who you are affects other people. Who you are affects the society. Who you are affects your family, and so on. So this quote by Williams Ellery says, the great hope. So the hope of the Nigeria that we all yearn for lies in individual character. And of course, we did mention that it has got to be positive. It has got to be sound, it has got to be good. It hasn't or doesn't need to have been bad, immature, and all the other negatives. Talking about character development, how important it is. It's so important that the hope of our society, our nation, our families rest on it. So we are at the mercy of who we are as individuals, as a collective people.
Very important. So still dwelling on the quote you just read out. For people who say this is who I am, I can't change, you're actually showing out your negative character. Because for you not to change it and you're doing something that is totally wrong. Because you're doing it doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
So
True.
just as you mentioned, putting in the work and trying to become better, that's the best way to live life. So to the next proverb, which is an Irish
You just got
proverb.
it proven.
Is
I like that.
Is that kind of an
I
Irish
like that.
proverb?
Okay, so it's a proverb.
Yes, it is.
Chapter 1, verse 1.
How to act Irish. Okay, so better to be a man if character than a man of less.
Man of
Better to
character.
be a man of character than a man of means. Better to be a man
Hey.
of character. Than
People
a
of
man
my
of
generation
means.
will say, who character help? I bet someone is even answering in their mind right now that, come, what are you telling me? I should be a man of character, not just a man of means. When we live in a society where men of means, timber, caliber, Iroko, and mahogany are the ones that people have give any chance. You enter a place, they say if you don't get money, hide your face. Such kind of philosophies have a way of celebrating what is important, but not the only important thing, and relegating what might even be more important. I totally agree with the Irish proverb that says, better to be a man of character than a man of means. Because truth is, as a man of character, you should eventually become a man of means. Should. All right. So next quote says, in the end, it is the person you become, not the things you achieve, that is most important. The word important keeps jumping out at me. In the end, please, in the end is important. See, one of the questions I always ask people and want to answer every day is, how do I want to be remembered? And when we talk about how you want to be remembered, a lot of people think you're talking about dying. No, it's not about dying. So you walked in a place and you have left. How are you being remembered there? So you lived in a particular compound or yard and you have moved out. How are you being remembered there? So how you want to be remembered is a daily need. Is a seasonal, is a regular demand on you. So wheresoever you find yourself, Les Brown says, in the end, it is the person you become, not the things you achieve, that is most important. I think we should listen to a man like Les Brown.
Okay, so moving on to the next. I like this one.
Yes, I have it.
Your character is so much more important than your looks.
If you make over, take over, everything over,
And your character doesn't make over.
you will be over at the end of the day. Don't leave.
Your character is so much
Yeah,
more important than-
absolutely. Scott Sanford.
Yeah. So people who just look on the outside and you don't work on your inside.
Both of them are important.
Both of them are equally important.
Yeah.
So don't focus on only your looks.
At the expense.
Yeah, at the expense of your character.
I
Work on
agree.
both and let
I
both
agree.
go side
I
by
agree.
side.
I agree. You know the things about looks? Looks will give you
The initial attraction.
initial attraction, but character will determine whether you continue to have the space.
Yeah.
So you should have the two. Remember, I said that the reason why we decided to do this series is because we want to be built to last. Can we begin to have a generation that can say, I've been doing this consistently for so number of decades, and it's been all clean, all ethical, all pure, and it's working. So we can begin to influence younger generations positively. I agree with Scott on this. The next one says character, not circumstances, makes the man. This is another wall behind which people hide. Oh, it's systemic. Oh, corruption is systemic. Are you the system? Don't you have a name? Don't you have values to uphold? Don't you have families to protect? Let's come clean. Character, not circumstances, makes the man. Brooker, Washington. I agree with you.
Okay, so the next one by Thomas Paine. He says, character is much better kept than restored. Character is much better kept than restored.
True.
So be intentional.
True.
Like, rather than trying to regain yourself, you spend more trying to redeem your image.
If you ever entirely are able to redeem, if you ever are able to
They
redeem.
say once you squeeze a paper, no matter how much effort you try to put into it to straighten it, you can never get
it will come back to what it was before. Very, very deep and thoughtful, insightful. The next one by John Wooden says, ability may get you to the top. And I need people of my generation to listen to this. Yes, because we are fast-paced. We want things done instant. We want things done now, and it's now or now.
sharp.
Yeah. So ability may get you to the top, but it takes character to keep you there, says John Wooden. It takes character to keep you at the top. This is the entire reason for running this series of building to last. Looking at the place that character development, personal character development will play in helping you build to last. I like to, without trying to pick on any particular scenario or incidents, I like to say that when people call for you to fight, to react, and to do all those volatile reactions, you have to think again. If you've been a man of sane character, to put it that way, and then something happens and calls for your value, that's the way I see it. So one of the things I usually say to myself and to my children is never let another person's insanity rob you of your sanity. You have to learn to keep your sanity because they don't have it. They don't care. You've been the one building all the while. You need that moment that I believe we all have to think again and decide, okay, if I decide to become touchy and blow everything up, will I like what it will look like? Will I be pleased? Will it be okay? And then will I love the fact that that's the way it has turned? Yes, we may be able to take just one more and we'll be coasting.
Okay, so the next by James D. Miles. He says, you can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him.
Yes.
You can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him.
You know, all of us know how to, when you are in government, let me use that one, it's a popular one. And from having been a print journalist, I know when someone who is in power, let's use it that way, public office, is celebrating, you will see adverts flowing, congratulatory adverts. And then, once the person leaves office, well, adverts will come from other places for people who are still current. So it's about currency. But for you who held that office, unfortunately, that's because those people are not They probably are not friends. They were only doing those things because of what they wanted to get from you. So truly, I agree. You can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him. How do you treat the little children around you? You slap for what does not deserve slapping because you know they can't slap you back. And then you just walk and get away with it. You take what belongs to other people and you just walk away with it. You are just telling us how that you are not someone to be trusted. You are not someone to be followed. And trust is at the heart of every destiny that will last. That will be the show for today. I have totally, totally enjoyed myself while learning and helping everyone learn as well. I believe Tulu has enjoyed himself as well.
I sure have.
We would like to remind you to be intentional and deliberate about building your character. We sign out now. This show is Mind Your Character with Bossade Olusola-Obasa. Want to reach us for training, consulting, or advocating character development? Please call 081 061 20819. 081 061 20819. Thank you so much for being part of the show. This conversation continues online on Facebook. Mind Your Character. Search for Mind Your Character. Thank you so much. From Tolu and I, would like to say bye for now.
Bye for now.
Mind Your Character is an interactive phone-in radio program designed to change you by influencing your mindset. When you tune into this frequency weekly, you have signed up to experience a positive turn in your character and family. Weekly, we should examine topical issues that affect everyday living, how we, in a creative way, to get everyone involved.